Right. Now, members of the jury, the duties of counsel and the court have been performed. The case has been argued by counsel. The court has instructed you regarding the rules of law which should govern you in your deliberations. The time has now come when the great burden of reaching a just, fair, and conscientious decision of this case is to be thrown wholly upon you, the jurors selected for this important duty. You will not be swayed by sympathy, prejudice, or passion. You will be very careful and deliberate in weighing the evidence. I charge you to keep your duty steadfastly in mind and, as upright citizens, to render a just and true verdict. You are to decide only whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty of the offense charged. Any consequences of your verdict are matters for the court alone to decide and must not affect your deliberations. The following two forms of verdict will be submitted to you for your consideration concerning the charge against the defendant, Todd A. Kendhammer. One reading, we, the jury, find the defendant, Todd A. Kendhammer, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in the information. In the other reading, we, the jury, find the defendant, Todd A. Kendhammer, not guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in the information. It is for you to determine which one of the forms of verdict submitted you will bring in as your verdict. This is a criminal, not a civil case. Therefore, before the jury may return a verdict which may legally be received, the verdict must be reached unanimously. In a criminal case, all 12 jurors must agree in order to arrive at a verdict. When you retire to the jury room, select one of your members to preside over your deliberation. The presiding juror's vote is entitled to no greater weight than the vote of any other juror. If you need to communicate with the court while you are deliberating, send a note through the bailiff signed by the presiding juror. To have a complete record of this trial, it is important that you communicate with the court only by a written note. If you have questions, the court will talk with the attorneys before answering, so it may take some time. You should continue your deliberations while you wait for an answer. The court will answer any questions in writing or orally here in open court. When you have agreed upon your verdict, have it signed and dated by the person you have selected to preside. After you have reached a verdict, the presiding juror will notify the bailiff that a verdict has been reached. Everyone will return to the courtroom. The verdict will be read into the record in open court. The court may ask each of you if you agree with the verdict, and at this time we'll swear the bailiffs.
I solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that you will, to the best of your ability, keep all jurors selected for this trial together in some private and convenient place until they have agreed on their verdict or discharged by the court, and that you will not, before they render their verdict, communicate to any person the state of their deliberations or the verdict they have agreed upon.
Right, at this time, since I told you earlier, we have 14 jurors. We need to reduce you by 2. What's going to happen is one alternate will be discharged, one alternate will be retained in case there's a problem with the other 12 jurors if they deliberate for a long period of time. Mr. Kendhammer, give me 2 numbers between and including 1 through 14. The first number will be the excused juror. The second number will be the retained alternate. 2 and what?
12.
2 and 12? Okay. The jurors that we currently have been tumbled on this list, so it's not in any specific order. All right, the excused juror is David Quack. David, 4092. The alternate juror is, right, you may all step out now and do your duty, and we'll await your response. Okay, may all be seated. We're outside the presence of the jury. Once again, counsel, did the court finish the instructions as you anticipated they would be read, Mr. Grinke
Yes, Your Honor.
and Mr. Bednarik?
Yes.
And was the court's tone again acceptable, Mr. Grinke
Yes.
and Mr. Bednarik?
Yes.
All right. Generally, juries ask for certain exhibits. If there's an agreement on what can go back without counsel being consulted, we'll determine that now. If there's some exhibits that you would want to discuss before they see them, we can identify those. But I guess who wants to indicate their preference?
To start off with, Your Honor, generally the photos, I think, are fine. I don't think that we should be sending back reports without discussion because many of the reports had information in that we agreed not to bring in. We wouldn't want the jury to be reading the reports.
Let me ask about the photos. Does that include the large exhibits that you have displayed to them?
Yes.
Okay.
If they wanted to look at a map, I wouldn't object, or any of the others.
Photos, maps, fine with me. How many objects do we have? If they want to see the cup, that's okay with me.
The pipe and the mug are really the only
Those have both.
objects.
Those have both been published to them. I don't know if they need to see it again, but
I would say if they asked.
I'm not saying send it back now. You said
I
you
won't
wanted to
send.
know.
I won't send anything back right now. We'll wait to see if they ask for it.
I guess maybe the easy way of saying this is my only objection would be reports, because we'd have to discuss how we do that. There was some information in reports from both sides that we wouldn't want them just reading.
Well, just to be clear, if we take all the photographs then and these large demonstrative exhibits,
I wouldn't object to any of those being,
Mr.
if
Hurley,
they asked.
I apologize, Judge. You said
these large demonstrative exhibits
fine.
and all the photographs.
that's fine. I have no problem with that. And or if they ask for it, I don't know that they will, the pipe or the cup. And anything else, I'd prefer to address it at the time.
Okay, is that clear enough? Okay. I don't know what they'll ask for, if they ask for a bulk or by exhibit number. If they ask for any of the photographs then, these large exhibits and or the pipe and the cup, those can go in without further comment by counsel. All right, anything else the state wants to put on record at this moment?
No.
Mr. Hurley?
No.
All right, given the interest in the case, how much time do you feel is reasonable for me to expect people to return here if we're notified of either a question or a verdict?
Well, we only need 10 minutes if the defense needs
I think
more.
we can make it
Well,
I think we can make it in 15.
15?
Very close there, too.
All right, well, since there's so many other people are interested, you'll have to get the word out. I'll try to have everybody here within 20 minutes, okay? So we'll set it at 20 minutes, and we'll go from there. All right, we'll be in recess pending what happens. And off the record, counsel, make sure you leave your phone numbers for the bailiffs to be able to get a hold of you.
I've done that.
Good.